I had seen a lot of interaction posts that have gone over the idea of someone with just a singular stand user with all the stands, essentially. Giorno with all of the stands, or instead it's you, whoever is reading it, with every stand. And even though they both go over someone having every stand, they're completely different outcomes, I'd say. Let's go over every facet first. For Giorno, now, what are the issues with having every stand? Something that everyone had mentioned is the fact that we have a lot of counterproductive stands, which could mess with his ability to function. Here's the amazing thing, right? He has a lot of other stands that help with these issues. For example, Cheap Trick, right? Cheap Trick doesn't work when you have stands that can redirect Misfortune and manipulate Calamity. Just most likely can't. And in addition to that, say if it does for some odd reason, you have access to White Snake. You can remove Cheap Trick right out of you. Heaven's Door. That didn't work, but we can find some workarounds. Crazy Diamond and Gold Experience. Yeah, Josuke's stand, it can't heal him, but the combination of Heaven's Door and Crazy Diamond most likely can run the fact that, hey, you can do that, and I think that's an unfortunate diff. Also considers the fact that, wow, Rohan could help Josuke, but they hate each other, so bound to happen. The same goes for Superfly, another bad stand, at least for the user. There are multiple stands that could bring another person in for you, and you could also bypass the logic of that stand with Heaven's Door, and you have abilities that could bring the other person, like your enemy, towards you. There are also incomplete stands that were incomplete due to the user, but once you have a different user, that stand would be tied to them differently because they have different properties entirely, mainly the potential and the other areas of it, the ability to grow and all that. But Giorno wouldn't have a lot of these issues that other stands had. I thought of the idea of stand overload, like too many abilities making the person just, oh, this is too much, and explode or something, but I don't really think that's a thing. You think stand overload would exist because, maybe some other connecting thoughts like, oh, hey, Pucci doesn't use all of his good stand discs at once, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, he's not the person to do that to begin with. Pucci is like an artist that doesn't need all of the colors on the spectrum. He just guessed the ones that he needs, and that's really the case, which is good practice because that's most likely going to be happening with Giorno here. Because consider this, right? You have access to Made in Heaven now. You have access to Star Platinum now. At the same time, why would you use something like Tower of Grey? Realistically, a lot of stands here are going to be put on the back burner, and that's just bound to happen because, they can't match up. There are going to be a lot of abilities that are a lot more well-rounded and just all around more applicable compared to the others. Now, you want to go over some fun things, like this, we can do that. Because yeah, with every stand, you stomp a lot of characters below you in terms of scaling, I guess, Giorno would. But think about how you could do it, There could be a 3-piece combo. You could be White Snake, Sea Moon, and Made in Heaven all at the same time. Stealing someone's memories with your insane speed. They're incapacitated. Hit them with some inverting gravity. And then watch as you win, because that's pretty much it. You could also have the Dio and Vanilla Ice combo by yourself by stopping time, and it's just like, oh man, Cream can't see in the stand. Doesn't really matter. You pause time. Now you can eliminate your frozen target and they would never see it coming. Heaven's Door plus time stop. Come on, what are we talking about? What are they supposed to do against that? Now, this is amazing for Giorno. Like, it's completely amazing because we know the level of stand user he already is. His potential is good, and stand is completely well and functional. His nature isn't like Holly's, which would cause issues for him if he was like her, because that's what was the issue with Holly. As for the regular person receiving a stand, there are a lot of stipulations to be had here because the posts don't cover that, as they're mainly just topics that you see on Twitter and you're not supposed to think about it too deeply. You're supposed to just like, oh, okay, this is the interaction. Oh, let me just go about it and type my tweet up. That's why we're over here, because we can go about it. How did you receive this stand? There's multiple ways. Did the arrow grant it? Or, well, is this some sort of magic situation where you're instantly given every stand with no issues? I imagine it's most likely what the tweet was going about. If that's the case, out of all these, I'd probably say that JoJo is your best bet considering the range of abilities. A lot of these other concepts are mainly lethal, and you have to remember what that one blonde guy said. You have no enemies. You're not gonna need this many stands to live in this world. No, it's not happening. As for the other ones, you know, if you're given every devil fruit, or magically given every devil fruit, and then there's no cons, then yeah, sure, that would work. But within the logic of the verse, you die. And that's just how that works. Same with the logic of JoJo. If you're not built for it, the process of receiving stands will kill you potentially. Unless you're going about it in some sort of out of the ordinary way, like how Poochie can just give people stand discs and it's just like, oh, okay, they're fine. No issues here. Every Bankai is cool, but I don't know. Like watching Bleach, you're like, why? Why would I want every Bankai? What do I need this for? Why would I choose this one when stands are an option? Even if I was to go war with some sort of alien life forms bent on destroying the universe, I'm probably just gonna leave it to Igudala. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, okay, strength, cool. Bleach, all right. Dragon Ball, okay, cool, it's strong. Actually, one of the best things for Dragon Ball is every transformation, if they mean it exactly how it's said. Here, what it could mean by that is like, because I imagine someone made this thinking about, oh, you only want Goku's transformations. I don't really need that. Like, that's not the case. If transforming into a being like Cell, you know, counts as a transformation because he did have to level up from semi-perfect Cell into perfect Cell, you know, I could get down with that. I'm probably going with something as simple as that because, you know, at least Cell can breathe in space. Like, I can go travel the cosmos if I wanted to. But, yeah. Every Titan, I don't really care. What are you supposed to do with every Titan? It's just odd. Picking my hero for this, I feel like that seems something that you could just mess around with. There's a large amount of quirks out there, and I know people like accumulating stuff that they'll use once, so there's a lot of people probably picking that. I'm sure that a lot of you watching this have a bunch of games in your backlog, and they're sitting in your library. Hey, come closer. Come on. Be honest, man. You're not finishing those games. Like, it's not happening. But after that, you know, if you picked every dojutsu, you just really like Naruto at that point, man. Because it's not about logic with you. You really wanted Sharingan, but for what? I can't really imagine for what. Like, what you can do so much with every stand. But every Sharingan, like, yeah, you want to copy some test answers? You could heaven store that, bro. What are you going to do with Sharingan, man? You going to Kodo Matsukami? What? You gonna Amaterasu some stuff? Who's your enemies? You wanna go take something to the Kamui dimension? Listen to yourself, man. You sound ridiculous. What are you doing? Oh yeah, maybe you wanted the Rinnegan. Oh, you can be like the Sage of Six Paths, man. Well, for what, man? For what, man? What are you gonna do? Well, for what? Also, if you picked every waifu, I mean, that's cool, I guess. The world is filled with beauty, but it wouldn't be bad to have some more, you know? Though I will say, if you're expecting all of them to like you, there was no stipulation of that in the picture there, dog. So it just says that they're there. It ain't mean that they're with you, especially because that would be a really weird stipulation to add. Why? Why would you do that? As for the image of who wins in the free-for-all, I wanted to wait before I mentioned Fate in this video, but the answer in this video is Fate. Gilgamesh with every noble phantasm is completely ridiculous. Because look, man, all right, every time you look at what Fate characters do, it's unreasonable. It's just unreasonable. Like every time. Like, being honest, out of all the power scaling stuff you're ever going to see in this world, and the most popular franchises out there, you're gonna see Fate stuff, and you're like, this is unreasonable. Like, I don't really know Fate like that, to like that deep. I don't. I'm not gonna pretend that I do. I just don't. My friends do, and every time they show me stuff, it's ridiculous. King Solomon, for example, he has mad noble phantasms. I don't even really know why. I've never read a lot of this stuff. One of them is called The Time of Birth Has Come. He is the one who masters all. That name, I don't even want to mess with whatever that is. Like, what? Or there's this other one called Avalon, like the Kara song, Avalon, the ever distant utopia. And I swear to you, if you read what these abilities do, like, I don't know, man. This is like the DC Comics anime edition, like, type of scaling. Avalon is this shield that exists outside of time and space, from what I understand, and you're basically made like invincible. It's crazy. But yeah, you know, 2 images. You pick Fate and you pick JoJo, not because of bias, but because that's realistically the best picks you got here. I will say that some characters on here were definitely set up for failure, and I want to say that it wasn't even fair. It's not their fault, because y'all got to stop putting Deku up against Goku. Come on, man. That boy don't deserve all this. Like, what did he do? He just want to save the world, and you got him fighting Goku. Even Goku probably don't want to fight that little kid, man. It's ridiculous. You know, as like a side note, you know, Luffy on here, if you want to be honest, that could be considered especially heinous too, considering he isn't even like top 3 in his verse. It's odd. But that's none of my business. Luffy be getting stronger every time I see him show up on the timeline, so I'm maybe one day. But thank you all for watching. This was a funny Twitter thing. If you want me to go about the intricacies and scaling of every stand and every Bankai and yada yada yada, I probably have to grab Metas and Jobber and all that to help get this going, but that's probably another big video, honestly speaking. But yeah, again, thank you all for watching. It means a lot to me every time you guys watch these videos. It's just amazing. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, peace out and Godspeed.